Hello everybody and welcome to another knockoff review. In today's video I'm taking a look at the second release from Bootleg Bad Guys Infinite Transformations. This is their take on MPM DINOBOT. Now it is a very controversial figure to say the least. A lot of people are calling Infinite Transformations a one-trick pony because their Megatron was absolutely sublime. Now, mine arrived from TF Direct. It did come in a brown shipping box. I actually done a live unboxing, put it up on my Patreon page. It actually just arrived in the brown shipper. There was no other outer box or inner box, so I'm lucky that it actually kind of arrived in one piece. But everything is there and everything seems to be in order. I tested the wrists, etc. as soon as I got him out of the box, and those seem ample. People had theirs crumble. Everybody is up in arms saying that it's a terrible waste of money. So I want to be open-minded. I want to take a look. I'm more than happy with my official release. The other bootleg that I've got at the moment was terrible, really floppy joints, and the color was off. So let's just see if the Infinite Transformation is any better than that. So we get instructions with nice artwork on the front there. We get our stand and our base, so we can join these together. I now have 3 of these, so I'm hoping that we get those. We get more with VO Convoy as well, so I can just build these up and kind of place them around. But again, these are nice and solid, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing that we wouldn't expect. And then we get DINOBOT himself mounted in this plastic clamshell. Right, before we take a look at DINOBOT, let's take a look at his accessories. We get the clips, we get the stands that all attach in Dino and in bot mode. We get his sword, which can attach inside the tail. Again, nothing out of the ordinary. These just feel pretty much like the official products. We've got the alternative face sculpts. I love how these look. Nothing out of the ordinary though. Nothing untoward. I believe he does come with the light up face as standard. We get the planetary disc. There we go. We get his laser eye effect, which he uses to shatter said disc, although I think they were actually pink in the show. We get the other base here to display the disc as well. That can just slide on, and we get his tail. Again, nice big solid lump. Not too shabby around the edges there. Get the odd sprue mark again though, something that should have been tidied up really. It's a little bit sharp around here, but that's me nitpicking. And before I switch out these faceplates, I'm going to switch it out so it's the same as the official, but we do have the light up feature. There's a button just on the back of the head. We push that in, and we have kind of Predacon eyes, and if we hold it we get the kind of maximal green eyes there. Red and green. Let's just take this faceplate off, and we'll bring in that kind of smearing face. That's in. So let's take a look at the coloration and see how they differ between both figures. Now, just bearing in mind I've got the Rambo accessories on my official DINOBOT. Instantly you can see that the tones on the arms are different. It's a much kind of more natural faded skin tone on the original DINOBOT, but not necessarily that's a bad thing. The chest area does hold together slightly better than what it does on the Infinite Transformations as well. The head is actually cleaner on the Infinite Transformations. I've got a little bit of a sprue area on the side of the official. The coppery gold tone that we've got on the legs and arms. It's a little bit rough around the edges on this one here, and we do have a little bit of purling on the hips, but you can see that this is a much kind of more neutral. The official is vastly vibrant, but then coming down to the legs, Infinite Transformation's kind of kept it a lot more uniform. The legs are more in keeping with the thighs and the waist, whereas on the official release, these are a lot more faded. You start with the top and work your way down. He does seem to kind of fade as he goes down. Coming down to the toes, we have the painted up gold sections on the front of the toe, which are now a natural tone on here, and just seeing how vibrant the Infinite Transformation version is. They definitely have kind of bolder, richer colours, so it's easy to tell the difference just by visually looking at them. Now, something that's got a lot of people's backup, personally it doesn't bother me, but it's because they've gone for the split tone on the hands. Takara went for fully grey ball sockets, and Infinite Transformation decided to give that kind of a flesh tone in amongst the centre. Personally, I prefer how that looks. It's in keeping with the rest of it, but maybe they should have gone the entire route of kind of having the entire joint that colour, as opposed to having it a split tone, but I do think it looks better than the grey ball sockets. I have no problems with the Takara version at all until I saw that this could have been an option and they could have done it like that, and I personally think that the split tone works better. But yeah, this section here does not want to stay tabbed in. It's not going anywhere, but it does not sit anywhere near as smoothly as it does with the official piece. We've still got this kind of textured feel that we get with the official product. It's just a difference in shade. I suppose he kind of looks fresher and newer. He is like, this is him now arriving, and then this is him after being involved in this maximal Predacon war. There's a lot of wobble on the official one. This one is a lot more solid, but it does come at a cost, which I'll show you when we get him transformed up, because transforming up the official Dinobot is very fluid and very smooth. And unfortunately, that kind of fluid feel has disappeared somewhat with the Infinite Transformations, because they've added all the additional ratchets, etc., and tightened up all the joints. Tightened up joints necessarily didn't need tightening as well, and as a result, it kind of loses its fluidness. Those of you who want to know about the articulation, head can look up, and we can go down. It does lift up from the neck as well. We can tilt left and we can tilt right. The shoulders are on a ratchet up here, a ratchet forwards and backwards. There's an upper bicep rotation there. The bicep does rotate. Have his leg storage in the upper arm here. Does allow this to bend like so, but obviously it pops the leg out of this joint, and it's a very stiff ratchet joint as well. It's quite a job to get that back in. We have rotation on those wrists and a bend on those wrists. Again, no problems there whatsoever. Hands do open and close. We do have a waist rotation, like so, really stiff joint there. And we get that abdominal crunch forwards, push and lock that back into position. Legs come this far forwards on a nice ratchet, this far to the back on a nice ratchet, out to the side. There is an upper thigh rotation in there. There's an upper knee rotation. We get a really nice deep bend on that knee. Just got to make sure that this piece here sits inside, so make sure the knee's straight to get full range on that leg. You get some left and right there, get some rotation, and we get some nice pivoting, and we get the independent heel as well. So posability straight off the bat isn't too bad at all, but the stand could do with some work. It's friction, and especially around this area here, is if this isn't posed correctly, then he just tilts and drops. There's no real resistance on there at all, so I may just have to tighten up that screw, because I can't see many people displaying their Dinobots like this. But I mean, on a scale of to that's not too bad really, is it? It's a very minimal issue to have, but I have only transformed him a couple of times, so I'll walk you through the transformation as well and see if there's any glaring issues. But he's leaps and bounds better than the unbranded KO. Everything appears to be as it should, but it's still not quite squaring up. And of course I will be putting the Rambo kit on him as well, which you better see from the thumbnail on this video. But he's not really that bad. Not this one, but I do have to bring your attention to the fact that other people have had issues with theirs. People have had the hands arrive broken and shattered. People have complained about the transformation. Like I said, it's not as fluid as the original, and it kind of takes the fun out of it slightly. But it's a pretty decent stand-in. Right, let's get him transformed up, shall we? Let's rotate the head around, come round to these back panels. These are going to untab a lot easier probably than they should. The chest panel comes up, and you can see everything's kind of coming out already. And there's our first glimpse at our dino head. Everything seems to be in order. A little bit loose on the ridge of the mouth there. Got his tongue sticking out. These sections are going to fold backwards on one another. Extend these panels out. The faux dino head is on a double hinge, so that's going to come up and under like so, and that will form the torso. Rotate his arms, locking them out. We have this adjustable armour on the arms as well, and these are going to split, come in, and with the arms just tucked down on the inside there. Close this off. It doesn't really close down as nicely as it did on the official or the KO. It kind of sits just above, which I don't particularly like. And we get to the feet there, the sharp talons just unfold. Press these shoulders so that they lock down like so, and then these shoulder pad pieces are going to come down. Using this double hinge, this is going to just flex and the head will move on the underside. Let's come around to these legs. This panel come undone. Getting really stiff joints here. This panel will come undone like so. These knees are going to rotate around, bring up the panels on the back of the legs, and that's where the majority of the problems lie with people's figures on these. They have problems getting this tab out of this leg piece. Push and then rock like so. That now allows some freedom in this joint, and unlock from the back, and this can then compress. Now we get some damage. I've done so well. This has just sheared off. I could probably glue that back in and screw this back in. It's like it's just snapped clean off of here, like the screw wasn't in tight enough, which is guttering. kind of similar sort of thing happened with the other version as well, wasn't it? But hey ho, I guess I'll have to just mod that. But yes, there we go. I have my very first breakage, so I can add that to the infinite transformation breakage list. And these disengage, and if your foot hasn't already fallen off, this hinge is going to come all the way up, and that's going to push and tab into that joint there. And this would rotate so that it's facing outwards, and then your feet would rotate to the inside. Lift the entire torso up, that's going to rotate all the way around, like so. You want to make sure that the legs come round facing backwards so that this tab is facing down. Such a shame that that went the way it did, but hey ho. Fears and tribulations of buying a bootleg. Like, the head is going to fold in, that's going to sit in to that void, because these legs are going to come up, and there's these tabs, and these tabs are meant to just slide in, but man, they are stiff. Whew. Right, I got them tabbed in, they're in there. Nearly gave myself a hernia pushing and trying to try and get those in, but they have now locked in back into position. That tabs off nicely. Rotate those arms on those sockets like so. That's going to push and tab in. These will come up and line up as well. This will come up and line up as well. This will come all the way forwards. And push and tab in to the underside like so. These will drop down. Oh my goodness me, I can't believe how ridiculously stiff that piece is. Folding this up and over. These are going to come up. These are going to come up. These untab. These untab. This untabs and rotates, and then slides back in. Push, 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 push. Those in, and then this is going to come all the way around. Push and lock into position. Rotating these butt panels around like so, and then just push and insert, and just push that over the latch, that over the latch, and this is all going to come down, and then these blue tabs are going to tab in lastly to the top of the legs. Just, and here we have them with everything kind of tidied up-ish. Really bummed me out about the foot. Nothing really I can do about that now. The hands not tabbing in as well as they should as well. That's a bit of a boo-boo in my opinion. I'm just not sure what I'm doing wrong. Maybe it's the articulation or something on there. Maybe the joints are slightly too loose. I'm not entirely sure, but it doesn't really sit as it should. There we go. That's probably the closest I'm going to get that to sitting straight on there. Still quite gappy. Does tab in where everything's meant to. These were a nightmare to get tabbed into the thighs. May have had something to do with that brake. But I like these butt flaps that cover off the rear panel here. Make sure that's in. Something that we didn't have with the original. The heel spares don't really work on this either. I can see what people's gripes are about this figure. They've tightened certain joints and left some joints up to their own devices, and it hasn't necessarily worked. They've kind of made life more difficult than it needed to be. Sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel which is what I think they've kind of tried to do here. Sometimes I think you can overcomplicate matters. Those joints were just unnecessarily tight, and it kind of sapped any of that fluid transformation, that kind of enjoyment out of it. Let's bring in the KO DINOBOT, because we already know that the colours are vastly different from the normal to this one. And again, the KO DINOBOT is somewhere kind of in the middle, I guess. He's a very similar colour to the normal DINOBOT, but everything's kind of more distinctive on the Infinite Transformation version. Now we still get all of that same articulation. You still get the adaptation on the eyes that you can chop and change like you did with Masterpiece Grimlock. And of course we don't get the butt flaps, we just get the feet poking out of the back. So that's a nice little added extra, but is it enough? I think the moral of this story is it is a KO. It is not, in my opinion, as good as their Megatron. It's better than this thing here. I may have been too heavy-handed with the foot peg, but I didn't really twist it any way that it shouldn't have twisted. I had to get some sort of epoxy glue or something on there to get that to seal up. But other than that, the bot mode was flawless, but it's that transformation. Nothing is fluid. The joints are very, very tight, and it's just not that enjoyable. If you don't want to buy the official product and you want to save some money and you still want your DINOBOT, out of the two KOs, this is leaps and bounds the better of the two, but it's still not perfect. I think Takara did an amazing job with their DINOBOT, and I think it really is going to be very difficult to beat. So maybe we'll get version 2 of this with slightly upgraded joints or something. And if you get the chance to buy the official, I would go the official route, 110%. Thanks to TF Direct for making this review possible. We'll include a link in the description below if you do want to purchase this. Like I said, just bear those flaws in mind. And if after weighing those up, this is still the route you'd like to take, then by all means click that link. Until next time, for myself and DINOBOT, thanks for watching. Goodbye.